Good morning. Welcome to Inside Talk Show. Inside Talk Show, it's an inside job. Life is an inside job. I'm Carla Elizondo. Welcome to Wednesday. We took a little break yesterday, but picking right up, James Allen's book, Out from the Heart. We're continuing chapter 3, titled Formation of Habit. We started a little bit, but repetition is key. So let's go over it again. Every established mental condition is an acquired habit, and it has become such by continuous repetition of thought. Despondency and cheerfulness, anger and calmness, covetousness and generosity, indeed all states of mind, are habits built up by choice until they have become automatic. We cannot control every single thought that pops into our head. We have intrusive thoughts, we hear things, we have flashbacks, but we do have the choice as to if we will continue to engage with that thought. It's like a person. Think of your thoughts like people. If you are walking down a busy street, and you know those people that have pamphlets or they're trying to sell you something, or if you're in Hollywood Boulevard and people have CDs, or people are trying to convert you to their religion, they come up to you and it's not for you. It doesn't make you feel good. You don't resonate with it. It bothers you. It triggers you, blah, blah, blah. So that person walks up to you. Are you the type of person that has gotten to a point where you're like, no, thank you, and you just continue walking? Or do you feel like you need to engage with that person because you feel bad, because you don't know how to get out of it, or because you want to try to help and fix them? That's like our thoughts. I want you to think of every thought as just people on the street. If they make you feel good, right? If you pop into a pop-up and meet a friend, oh, you're going to sit with them and chat for a little bit on the street. But if they're not, if they're a stranger or somebody mean, cruel walking up to you, what are you doing, lady? Get off this street. It's like, okay, let's keep walking. Are you going to sit there and engage with that person? Think of your thoughts that way. When thoughts come in and they make you feel, act like they're, thank you, goodbye, keep walking. Don't engage with that thought. So that's a great metaphor. When people say, I can't control my thoughts. It's futile to control my thoughts, the thoughts that come in my head. Just as it is futile to control people on the street. They're absolutely right. But where we do have control is if we are going to engage with that thought or that person. We have that choice. We're not taught to. Even in real life, when we're in front of people, oh, that's rude. Don't be rude. Don't ignore that person. Hear them out. No, you don't have to. You don't. And the same goes with our mind. Just because thoughts come in, they have no authority unless we give them authority. You can choose what thoughts, once they're in, if you're going to feed them, nourish them, invite them in for a cup of tea. You must have, just like you have boundaries with people in the world, boundaries, saying no is a complete sentence, and you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. Remember this. You do not have to explain why you do not want to engage with anybody. It's no one else's business. Think of that with yourself. You do not have to engage with any thought that you don't want, and you don't have to explain it to yourself. You don't need a reason why. Well, why? No, ma'am. If it doesn't feel good, it's not worthy of you. But we have been so taught that life is suffering in that sense, which is ass backwards because that's a whole nother topic, but that we are supposed to, that we have to suffer, that we don't have a choice, that we must just take what's given, that other things have control over us. We have to know our true power, that we do have choice. We, of course, don't have control over the outside world or the thoughts that come in, but once in here, we have a choice whether to kick it out or drop it in, just like our little all right. My hair, God bless it. Okay. So thoughts come in. Remember, thoughts come in. Intrusive thoughts, random thoughts, other people's thoughts, things we see, hear, smell, taste, touch from our 5 physical senses, they come in. We can't control what's out here. We can control our environment, because depending on your environment is what's out here. So pay attention to your environment always. But no matter what environment we're in, we can't control what comes in sometime, anytime. Intrusive thoughts, even just self-made. But once they're in here, in our conscious thinking mind, this is where we have the choice. Once entered into our mind, and we get a feeling of, do not let it drop into the subconscious. Let it get under your skin. Don't let it get emotionally wrapped up, because once it does, once you envelop a thought with your emotions, it's kind of locked into the trap, so to speak. So if you're a printer and it's a Wi-Fi printer and the Wi-Fi job gets sent to the printer, the queue, it's on deck to be printed. Are you gonna cancel the print job? Do you want it to be printed in the outside world? If you do, sure, send it through. Envelop it with your emotions. It'll print in this 3D outside world. But if it's a print job that you don't want to be printed, a thought that you do not want to be sent down and be printed, you cancel it, kick it out, cancel, literally. That's, I don't know if it's a Silva method, but cancel, delete when you have a thought come in. Simple things. People think they're silly. Oh yeah, well, it's going to work. Well, what does work? How's it working for you? It's the simple things that work. Remember, we talked about law, life, nature is simple. It's a basic B. It's not, there's no bells and whistles. It's not complicated. Life is so simple. The law, we just have to follow the law. That was a long tangent. All right. So all of these states, good, bad, calm, frantic, they're habits built up by choice until they have become automatic. A thought constantly repeated at last becomes a fixed habit of mind, and from such habits proceed one's life. So whatever we habitually think, we think is going to proceed. Whatever is impressed is expressed. Whatever is impressed is expressed. So whatever you see in your world, you are responsible for. And higher level kind of Jedi master, as we were talking about the other day, about, do I attract all of this? Oh, I didn't attract that. I didn't ask for that. I want you to reframe in the sense of how you see the thing. It's how you think of the thing. How do I think of my flat tire? Did I attract that? Then again, we talked about the reasons don't matter. How I perceive the situation that I attracted will then produce the results, because I can have attracted the flat tire and I can think, you know what? I have a moment to rest and to reflect. I am so grateful that I have AAA. I have a moment, this is a sign that I really need to kind of slow down, or maybe I need to check my new tires. Maybe I need new tires. All of these things, depending on if I approach this so-called bad experience that I attracted with a negative or positive attitude, will then dictate my experience of it. I hope that made sense. We can get really twisted about that kind of thing. So it is in the nature of the mind to acquire knowledge by the repetition of its experiences. A thought which is very difficult at first to hold and dwell upon, at last becomes, by constantly being held in the mind, a natural and habitual practice. A thought which is very difficult at first to hold and dwell upon, at last becomes, by constantly being held in the mind, a natural and habitual practice. Of course, When we talk about changing our habitual thoughts, it's uncomfortable. It's not natural. Your mind is going to say, "Oh, yeah, right. Oh, roll your eyes." But it's just because you're implementing something new. But just like everything you've ever learned, by doing it over and over and over again, it doesn't really take that much, depending on what it is. It'll become habit. What habits do you want? And I would say, don't even focus on the habits you don't want anymore. Just focus on the habits you want. Who's somebody you look up to? Who's really winning? Study those people. Study the greats. What did they do? What were their habits? And don't try to figure out why or how you can hack it. Just do it. Find someone you really, really look up to and admire. The results they have in their life, their happiness, really. Not the cars or the money they have, but how do they show up for those cars and money, right? Are they really happy? Because as we know, there's people who have high blood pressure, who are angry all the time, who have no friends, who are jerks, who have all the money in the world. And then there's people who are so generous, so peaceful and calm with a lot of money and all the money in the world. Inner peace and freedom is my goal. What's yours? What habits do you need to achieve that? Think about that. Think about people who are really, really, they're on to something. And then find out what their habits are and just adopt those habits. If you can't think of your own habits to, like, I don't know where to start, Carla, find someone that has a good system going. Email them, ask them what they do. Get out of your comfort zone. Ask for help. Ask for help. We're in this together. Everybody needs help. I was just talking to a friend the other day about, get a coach. Get a coach. Get a coach. Coaches, mindset coach, whatever it is. I'm a coach, right? I say that all the time. If anything I say resonates, reach out. I have a coach too. I think every coach should have a coach. Every student should have a teacher. You never arrive. My teachers have teachers. My coaches get coached. Always have a coach, always have a teacher, always have people surrounding you that know more than you do and that can help you. I'm just a few steps ahead of where I was. So I like to reach back where I was and kind of pull those people back. And then I grab onto my mentors and then they grab onto theirs. And it's just this chain of everybody helping each other out. I hope that was helpful. I love James Allen. We will continue tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.